Greetings, Kaiserly Philip V here today to talk about an article that I saw recently. Two things prompted this video, two articles particularly. An article from Catholic Family News. I have my own problems with them, but they gave me a well, I found a commentary from them that a friend shared in my timeline, which in turn came from Landsknecht News about Pope Francis attacking fundamentalist Catholics. And there's only one particular lie. Like, here, essentially, I'll just tell you what happened. Essentially, in one of his famous plain interviews, Pope Francis condemned fundamentalist Catholics, as he called them. He says as follows: "Fundamentalism is a sickness that is in all religions. We Catholics have some, and not some, many, who believe in the absolute truth and go ahead dirtying the other with calumny, with disinformation, and doing evil. They do evil. I say this because it is my church. We have to combat it. Religious fundamentalism is not religious because it lacks God. It is idolatry, like the idolatry of money. You cannot cancel out a religion because there are some groups, or many groups in a certain point of history, of fundamentalists," speaking of Islam in this line. "Like everything, there are religious people with values and those without. But how many wars have Christians made? The sacking of Rome was not done by Muslims, right?" In the same fight, he asked with the use of condoms in the fight against AIDS, and it's time for the church to change its position. Pope acknowledged that condoms are one method of prevention, saying the church was faced with perplexity whether to follow the fifth commandment or that sexual relations are open to life. He dismissed this as not the problem, as it reminded him of the question, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? Catholic News Agency cares the full strategy focus on the quotes matter, relating his words thus: Let's not talk about if one can use this type of patch or that for a small wound. The serious wound is a social injustice, environmental injustice. I don't like to go down to reflections on such case studies when people die due to lack of water, hunger, environment. When all are cured, when there aren't these illnesses, tragedies that man makes, whether for social justices or to earn money, I think of the trafficking of arms. When these problems are no longer there, I think we can ask the question, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? Because if the trafficking of arms continues, wars are the biggest cause of mortality. I wouldn't say not to think about whether it's lawful or not to heal on the Sabbath. I would say to humanity, make justice, and when all are cured, when there's no more injustice, we can talk about the Sabbath. First off, Jorge Bergoglio, you are an awful public speaker. You are a rambling, incoherent mess. Like, I'm reading straight from quoted remarks here, okay? Either the translator needs to be fired, or Pope Francis, as usual, needs to shut his mouth, because he can't public speak. He has no idea of how to speak in public. Like, he's awful at it. Like, even in an off-the-cuff way, he is a rambling mess. Like, I'm prone to rambling, but I like to think I maintain a coherent point here. I make sense. Let's talk for a second about his condemnation of religious fundamentalism. You know, it's one thing to say that rigid religious adherence can lead to bad things, but is it so bad to rigidly adhere to a religion like Catholicism? Is that so bad? Is it so bad to follow this religion? Apparently Pope Francis thinks so. And my question is, if you think so, why are you still here? Like, this whole how many wars have Christians started? Yeah, I got a couple of neckbeards I know on Reddit who can give you a similar diagnosis of our religion. And just the ignorance of this man is fully on display here in his reference to the sack of Rome. And the sack of Rome was not done by Christians, right? First off, you display an absolute lack of historical understanding of the consequences and the events surrounding the sack of Rome. In fact, Rome was menaced by Muslims in its early part of its history, Muslim pirates, which were defeated at the Battle of Ostia in the early history of the Church, post-Roman Empire. The Islamic pirates from North Africa threatened Italy quite a bit, actually, in the 700s and 800s. Like, it was a serious threat. And Suleiman the Magnificent threatened multiple times to sack Rome. So I don't know what you're getting at with this equivalency thing here. I have no idea what you're going on about. And I hate to say it, but as usual, the Catholic right is no more better here. Like, is absolutely zero better here when it comes to dissecting this event. First off, I just want to talk about the general attitude of conservatives towards militantism. I want to talk about that because it's not helpful. This use of militant terms and language in speech and in public speaking is not helpful. It's not at all productive. It's not at all winsome. It's nothing. It's absolutely pointless to talk this way, especially to people who are already against you and already think you're the devil. Do you know why liberals win? Do you know why progressives win? Do you want to know why, people? It's because they know that their position is not the mainstay. They know their position is novel. They know they have to convince people of what they believe. They know that. But conservatives just think they're right because they're right, which, you know, that's it. They think they're right because they're right. And if you disagree, you're just stupid. Liberals will try to convince people of things. Conservatives just accuse you of being an un-American communist. You know, it's really amazing here. Now, specifically, you know, where the Catholic right gets things wrong is, you know, there is a Rorati Caeli article written by some Roberto de Matti, you know, about the sack of Rome. And he's comparing it, he's saying that we need something like that today to happen to the Catholic Church in order to get it back to its senses. Okay, first off, he sets this up as that Charles V's Lutheran army of Landsknechts, because yeah, that makes so much sense, right? A bunch of Lutherans fighting in the Catholic army of Charles V as he's waging a brutal war against Protestant rebellious princes. That just makes so much sense, right? I mean, I'm not going to acknowledge that there were religious, I'm going to acknowledge there were religious turncoats during these conflicts in this time period, but just to insinuate that it's an overwhelmingly Lutheran army is retarded. And get this, he says that, you know, that the Landsknecht captain gave these men the authority, the license to sack the city. Okay, first off, wrong. A visit to Wikipedia, and Wikipedia's not a legitimate source. It's a more legitimate source than a blog, okay? Like, it has they have sources, there are professors, there are scholars who make it their life's mission to keep this thing running, to keep it accurate, and to give every perspective possible. There's no reason, like, to discount Wikipedia at this point. It's stupid. There are plenty of books, even old books, that are full of factual inaccuracies, that are biased, that are slanted. It's stupid to say Wikipedia is infactual and untrustworthy and biased because it's an internet source and that anyone can edit. That's stupid. Like, he said the captain of the Landsknecht gave them the authority to sack the city. No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. The captain of the Landsknecht was killed during the sack of the city, and the Landsknecht were completely and utterly leaderless at this point, basically, aside from the various captains of their different bands. They were utterly leaderless. Charles V sent these Landsknecht there as a part of the Italian wars he was fighting, and his goal was to, you know, subdue the Papal States, because the Papal States had gone against him during the war for various, without getting into complicated succession law here, basically Charles V had claims to some Italian kingdoms, and France was challenging them, and in a rare turn of events, the Papal States hopped in on the side of France for various reasons, and the Landsknecht were there to hold the city down and to basically take the Pope hostage and force him to, you know, come to the diplomatic table and rethink his stance. Because the Holy Roman Emperor and the Pope are supposed to be working in tandem. They're not supposed to be opposing one another. So this was a serious problem. Without the captain, the Landsknecht slowly became aggravated by just having to sit here and, you know, watch the Pope or wait for the Pope to, you know, surrender. And eventually, what really set off the sack of Rome was information that the payment of the Landsknecht would be delayed. See, the Landsknecht were professional mercenary soldiers. Landsknecht were primarily a feature of the Holy Roman Empire and its armies, but there were Landsknecht even fighting for the French. They became a type of soldier. They just were German generally, so they were more prominent among the German armies, like the Holy Roman Empire of this time period. The sack of Rome happened as a result of this refusal of payment, because these guys were career soldiers. They made no money, regardless. Mercenary soldiers in this time period were notoriously poor. They were notoriously poor. This was how they got their livelihood. For some of them, their families traveled with them on campaign and lived in the camps with them and did various, you know, jobs around the camp, such as first aid or cleaning or building fortifications or, you know, maintaining the camp in general. It was a pretty common occurrence. And so these guys' livelihoods were wrapped up in getting paid for this war they were fighting. And essentially, what this guy is saying is that a similar chastisement is what's necessary to fix the church today. And here's the bigger problem with his whole thesis here. He buys into Protestant historiography here about how the Roman Catholic Church in Rome at this time period was a center of licentiousness and whoredom and loose morality and all this other stuff. That may be true. There were undoubtedly people who were doing that. But here's the thing. And here's why I like Renaissance popes. Here's why I like them, okay? Not only did they give the church dignity in the sense of they financed one of the greatest cultural revolutions, well, not revolution, one of the greatest cultural flowerings in Western history. Not only are they some of the most influential men in science and politics, not only did they, set an unimaginable precedent at the time for, international geopolitical pull over nation states. Not only were they the fulcrum on which Christendom turned, but they did not compromise on doctrine. You can say whatever you want about their personal lives, but as teachers and as Catholics, these men were impeccable in their teaching. In their office as teachers of the faith, they did not swerve. I am sick to death, as a modern man, of watching namby-pamby, nice, polite priests and bishops who don't teach the faith, who give me Hallmark greeting card spirituality, but can't be buggered to defend the religion that they supposedly gave their lives away to. I'm convinced most of these guys are there because they can't get a job doing anything else, and a theology degree and experience as a priest really doesn't give you a lot of options for employment. Like, long gone are the days when priests were some of the most erudite, educated men in Christendom. Those days are gone, okay? These guys go to school for like 2 to 4 years, learning theology, learning how to do the liturgy, learning all this various stuff, and that's it. Most of them are not super intelligent. And I think your average Catholic can vouch for that. They're not super intelligent. Let's stop with, what Pope Francis calls clericalism here. Let's just be honest. Some of these guys are dumber than posts. They are stupid. They're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about 2/3 of the time they say anything, even when they're talking about the thing they supposedly went to school for. They know nothing about the religion. And I will challenge that claim. I will accept challenge to that claim. I will. These, I would prefer a guy with like 6 mistresses and God knows how many illegitimate children who will not swerve on the matter of doctrine and is a good spiritual leader to other people than someone who has his house together but can't show anyone else how to do it. Because you know what? Those people are worthless. They're worthless. As a priest, your job is not just to save your soul. It's to save everyone else's. And nobody in the conciliar church today seems to care one iota about that. And if they do, they're giving people all kinds of wrong information on how to do that. Teaching them all kinds of wrong things on how to do that. And I'm going to pull it back here to what I said. I was complaining about militant rhetoric among conservatives and among traditionalists. Look, guys, I'm a violent person. All right? I am a weapons collector. I am a weapons enthusiast. I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I believe the Second Amendment should be used to protect the United States of America from enemies, foreign and domestic. And let me clarify what I mean by that. I don't mean oppose and overthrow the federal government. I mean protect the Union, the government, which holds this nation together. I don't mean we should violently overthrow the government. That is never, ever what the Second Amendment was intended for. If you think that's the case, I will, gladly point to you the Whiskey Rebellion and the War of the Rebellion, better known as the Civil War. I'll point those 2 situations to you. If constitutionally and legally those were legitimate movements within the United States, then the federal government would have had no choice but to belly over and let them win, because that's how it works. And if you think anyone is so brain-dead retarded as to open their government to being overthrown and replaced by just any bunch of drunk, fat rednecks with a bunch of shotguns and, weekend warriors who don't have the balls to actually do anything, and a couple of crazy people, like apparently what's going on in San Bernardino, apparently 3 white males involved, in this shooting. The Planned Parenthood shooting, I've heard it was a fumbled bank robbery, but there's no confirmation of that. Apparently this was some crazy drifter out of his mind who shot up at an abortion clinic. And there's nothing to condone that. There's nothing for it. But here's the problem. Okay? Here is the problem with using militant rhetoric. Okay? If you don't have an army, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have resources, international support, you are full of shit. You are talking out of your ass. You want revolution? You want uprising? Fucking make it happen. But I see a bunch of politicians riling up their base without actually meaning anything, and they are totally heedless to the consequences of their words. They are totally heedless of the fact that what's going to happen is some crazy people are going to pop off because they don't feel like there's anything else they can do. They feel threatened. They feel encroached upon. They feel like something is going on, and the only way to stop it is violence. And you people are not helping that at all. Rorticelli in this case is just as bad as the remnants. Always talking about, oh, well, we need to do something. People need to take up the sword. We need to do something about this without actually getting something together, without organizing something. Do you want just an outbreak of Catholic domestic terrorism? Do you want just far-right extremists popping up, just, shooting up civilian areas? Like, you people don't even have the balls to do something like, I don't know, bomb a police station or kill political officials or I don't know, attack a military base. No, you shoot unarmed innocent people. That's the kind of people you are. You are cowards. You're no better than the mutinous criminals and brigands in the Landsknecht who betrayed the orders of their emperor and went on a sack of the city and killed innocent people and stole their money to pay for their lifestyle. You are just as bad as them in that one instance. I love the Landsknecht to death. Okay? I listen to Botho Lucas like it's going out of style. Alright? Unser lieben Frau is probably one of my favorite songs of all time. 1010 would march to war against the Protestants any day listening to that. But, you don't understand what you're doing here. You are literally talking out of your ass, and you're going to create something you can't stop or control because you've made no effort to control it. You've made no effort at organization. You're a bunch of talking heads and pamphleteers who don't care what the consequences of your actions are. You don't care. You just say what you need to say to get people behind you and to vote for you come election day, to show up to your rallies and to make you look important and to keep you from getting a real job. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. And to close on the Landsknecht thing, Charles V spent the rest of his life trying to make up for that. He did not want that to happen in any way, shape, or form. The Imperials saw it as a travesty of a breakdown in military discipline that was not intended, that was not wanted, and was most certainly not intended. Charles V, a very pious man, would have by no means ever thought to send his men like barbarians to sack a Christian city like that, especially Rome. Never in his wildest dreams. It's beyond me. What do you want, really? Like, do you think violence will solve this? Let's say you get your army, your army of Christendom. Let's say you get that, okay? Which, I have had the Imperial Militia of Blessed Charlemagne as an idea of mine for as long as I can remember. I've been gunning for that idea, but I would want it organized, disciplined, and made of people who know what the hell they're doing. Not a bunch of angry bigots who, just want an excuse to shoot things, that goes beyond simple, armed robbery. You're not thinking, okay? Let's think about, the Carlists, the Jacobites, these two counter-revolutionary armies. Just name a few. Okay, the Vendeans, the Chouans, all these groups of people who at various times took up arms to defend a legitimate emblem of Christendom. Okay? What did they do? Oh, that's right, they lost. Why did they lose? Why did the Bourbon Restoration fail? I've been pounding this into people's heads as long as I've run this page. You can kill as many people as you want. You can execute as many people as you want. You can burn as many heretics as you want. Until you can convince people that you are in the right. Until you can attain moral authority. Until you can convince your own people of the justice of your cause and of the importance of your religion, you are nothing. You are not going to get better than Charles X. You are going to get, or 20th. Whoever the Bourbon Restoration monarch is right now, I'm too furious to remember, to be honest. You were not going to get a better monarch fourth than Charles. You weren't going to get one. But the people of France believed in the Enlightenment, in the Republic. They didn't read Maestri, they read Voltaire. They didn't, the people of Spain weren't reading Sevilla. They were reading whoever the hell the fathers of Spanish republicanism are. I don't really care to know. I've never cared to know. Maybe I should learn. Because maybe if I learned and studied the arguments behind their positions, and maybe if I bothered to learn, I could formulate a proper strategy against them. Maybe I could get them to find common ground with us. Maybe we could agree that some things do need to be improved upon. Maybe we could make concessions, make deals, do politics. Just the brunt stupidity of you people. Never mind the fact that half the time, you're white knighting for people like Marshal Pétain or the Rexists or the Spanish Blue Division or Franco. Never mind that that's what you spend most of your time doing. Never mind that raw insanity. The sheer simple fact that you people can't seem to see past your own rhetoric to formulate a plan, to formulate something of lasting importance and unity on the subject of Christendom and its restoration speaks volumes to your incompetence. It speaks volumes to your selfishness and to your stupidity. I have spent 5 years of my life, since I became a Catholic, trying to further the cause of Christendom through my own humble ways, through writing, through speaking, through running multiple social media pages. I have done that. I've made mistakes along the way, and I've learned from those mistakes. I have done my best to learn as much as I can. I basically retired from active political activism on the internet for 2 reasons. 1, it's useless. 2, it's partially useless. 2, I don't know enough. I need to learn more before I can actively do this. I need to acquire certain skills. I need to lose the massive fat that hangs off my body. I've made quite a bit of, I've made quite a bit of progress in that, but not nearly enough. I need to learn skills and things about the world and languages that will help me to overcome the barriers and obstacles that will be put in my way. These are things I need to do. What do you people do? You're a bunch of disillusioned, angry, ignorant old men trying to write, for your little consumer base so you can keep not having a job. What are you doing? What are you accomplishing? The SSPX, almost every single traditional clerical order is in absolute disarray. Because all you people know how to do is condemn Vatican II. That's all it is for you. People say conciliarists don't see a church before 1962. Neither do traditionalists. It's all about Freemasons and communism and Jews and, Vatican II this, Vatican II that. Okay, we get it. Shit sucks. Give us alternative. Can you do that? Oh, no, Vatican II, shut the fuck up. I've had it with this stupidity, and I'm calling it like I see it. And I'm saying this to people because I love you. Because I want this to succeed. I was full of hope when I found these people. I was full of, possibilities when I found these people. And now I see a lot of work needs to be done. A lot of things need to be done to fix this nonsense. A lot of things need to be done to repair this. A lot of things. More than just I can do alone from the internet. It's going to take real on-the-ground activism. It's going to take clergy who are committed. It's going to take people who are committed, level-headed, yet passionate people who can support their emotions, however rightly oriented to their intellect, to realize that if they want A, they got to do, if they want B, they got to do A. Because that's how it works. Again, just think about what you people are doing. I asked somebody, the admin of This Is Christian Austria, and while I'm feeling so full of piss and vinegar today, I'm going to go ahead and call out This Is Christian Austria. You're a disgusting neo-Nazi fascist. Okay? White knighting for the SS. You're either the things I just described, or you're an ignorant moron. Okay? Anti-migrant rallies. Oh, yes. How productive of you. Just white knighting for the SS. You're as much a traitor as the Austrians who applauded Hitler when he rolled into Austria. Okay? You're as much... this is the kind of stupid that we have to deal with. You people. I can't go anywhere in this movement. I can't do anything as a Europhile, as a person who loves Christendom and loves this. I can't get into anything that loves these things and enjoys these things that isn't crawling with people like you. I'm almost scared to death to go into the academic field for this stuff, because I definitely am not going to mesh with you people there. I am just beyond, it's people like you that are the reason no one likes this stuff, because you people hide behind it. It's people like you that are the reason World War I monuments to the German Empire get defaced by Antifa, because you hide behind that stuff. They don't see a difference because you use it. You hide behind it. And if you fucking pop off and do something retarded again, all this and more will be gone. Denazification will become de-Westernization. Everything we love will be destroyed. Why? Because you were stupid. And I hope it was real fucking worth it for you to stand in some floppy uniform and fire an outdated fucking rifle at a bunch of professional soldiers who promptly shove it up your ass and pull the trigger. Because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're idiots. At best, you will succeed and your countries will be ruins. At worst, you will demonize everything that I and numerous people like me love to death. This is a lot louder than I usually get. It's a lot angrier than I usually get. But you know what? You don't want me to get angry? Don't invite me to your shit. You don't want me to get angry? Don't put it where I can see it. Alright? You can go off in your own freaking corner of this dark side of the internet, and you can fucking piss on all over my history without me having to look at it. Because if I see you do it, I'm going to yank your fucking dick off. I'm just tired of dealing with you people and your nonsense. And I'm going to call it how I see it. If you're tired of this, if you feel what I'm saying to you, if what I'm saying is connecting to you on some kind of emotional level, like if you in any way sympathize with what I'm saying here, by all means, contact me on my pages. Send me fan mail. Like the video, share it, send it to people. Get in touch with me. I know people are out there. I've met some of them. I know they're out there. We can turn this around bit by bit. We can improve this bit by bit. We can do it. All it takes is getting off your ass, closing this video, going to my inbox, messaging me, and from there, maybe we can get something done.